and welcome to our third installment of our community forum. Tonight we're going to present some new information from myself, Kevin Seymour, high school principal.
Amy Molloy, middle school principal.
Tim Filiatra, elementary principal.
If you have any additional questions as we go through this, we are reminding you that you can send those questions to reopeningquestions at sccs.cnyric.org. While we developed this plan, several pieces came together in order to make this happen. We used the guidance from the state, Recovering, Rebuilding, and Renewing the Spirit of New York Schools, Reopening Guidance, the CDC guidelines, and the New York State Health Guidelines as well. We had a couple goals in mind as we went through and developed these plans. We wanted to ensure the safety and social and emotional well-being of our students, staff, and community members. Additionally, we wanted to develop a plan that maximizes the academic engagement between our students and our faculty and our teachers.
There are some options that our families can choose, as you are all aware of. One is being a remote learning student. You will follow the school's-based curriculum virtually via assistance with your teachers. How each teacher will implement that is going to be a little bit different. Teachers will reach out to remote learning students prior to the beginning of the school year. Students who are remote learners will remain enrolled here at Sandy Creek. Those who decide to have chosen homeschooling as their option will have to file the proper paperwork with Mr. Filiatra at the elementary school, and we must complete all that registration before homeschooling can begin. Also, due to the constraints of keeping our students and staff safe, we are asking that you verify your choice, whether it's in person, remote, and or homeschooling, by August 19th. A letter was sent home yesterday regarding this, and if you would like to change your model of instruction, we will need that by next Wednesday, August 19th.
Attendance. Attendance will be taken daily for our students, both on-site, in person, and for those students who are learning virtually or remotely at home. Students who don't attend or participate on-site or remotely do have the potential risk of failing a class and not receiving credit. We will be looking for students to be engaged each day. Teachers will check in. It is very important, especially for those students who are at home remotely, that they are online, engaging with the teacher, checking in, making sure that they're doing that work. So attendance is very important.
A part of this process is our students and staff will have to wear masks at certain points. Whenever they are unable to social distance, they are going to have to wear masks. Several different places this will have to happen: hallways, entering and exiting the building, cafeteria, except for when they're eating, moving about the building, they are going to have to wear masks. It is part of the process and part of the plan per the guidance from New York State. However, there are going to be some students that, again, New York State law, are not going to have to wear masks. However, these students have to go through the proper channels through CSE. They'll receive an IP, a 504 if they don't already have them, and they'll work with our CSE chairperson, Kim Manfredi. At this point, face masks do not qualify as a mask. We are asking that our students and staff wear cloth masks to school daily.
Transportation. If you request the district provide transportation, we have provided an estimated morning pickup time for you. It is subject to change as they work on those routes for the buses. This is in the letter that went home yesterday. Also, in order to accommodate all requests for transportation and make sure that we can fit our students on those buses, we are asking that students ride the same bus in the AM and PM consistently. Also, please contact Robin Cashel, our transportation supervisor, at 315-387-3445. Her extension is 3330 if you need to talk to her further.
Some new information regarding temperature checks. We do have a new screening system before students are entering the bus to have their temperatures checked. If the temperature is 100 degrees or above, that student will not be able to attend school and will be directed back into the residence. If one sibling has a fever, the other siblings will also not be able to enter the bus that day. For students who are being dropped off by parents or driving to school, students will be checked prior to entering the building. Parents may not leave campus until their child is verified of having a temperature less than 100. Entry points for our walkers and drop-offs and drivers will be at the elementary school entrance facing the road for our K through 5, and at the middle school, high school entrance, we will have 2 entrances. They can enter through the side ramp nearest the gym entrances and the main office entrance for 6 through 12. It's super important that parents not leave campus until their child is verified of having a temperature less, because they will have to go home with you if their temperature is above that. So we appreciate your patience with our new procedures with this.
The in-person reopening plan. So district-wide, our students will be here in school from 8 to 1:30 daily for kindergarten through 6th. That means every day, Monday through Friday. Class sizes have been reduced. Our schedules are being developed to maximize social distancing for those students. We want to be able to allow them to have their masks off when they are socially distanced in the classroom, so we worked very hard to keep that or to maintain that. Students will remain with their classroom, their cohort throughout the day, so they will stay with their homeroom, their classroom for the day. Breakfast and lunch will be served in the classroom at the kindergarten through 5th, and then 6th grade will actually go to our elementary cafeteria, I believe, to eat their lunch.
At the middle and high school level, our students are going to be placed in the cohorts, 2 different cohorts. One group, the White Comets, they will come on Monday and Wednesday. Most of the students, their last names will start A through L, except for we have had to tweak that. And then our Blue Comets will come Tuesday and Thursday, again, M through Z, but again, we've had to tweak some of those. That information will come out. It will be on your schedules when you receive them in the mail as to what Comet you are, whether that's a white or a blue. Virtual learning, it will take place on Friday, all Fridays. Our city BOCES students, they will be attending that BOCES 1 day per week for 5 hours. In order to get those hours, they are working toward being able to obtain the certifications for those programs. So they've created a system over there that's going to work for them. And we are trying to make sure that students and families attend all on the same day so that that accommodates the parents' needs.
We will also be sending home our 6 through 12 schedule. We've divided it, we color coordinated it for you to get you a better picture of what the day will look like. We have eliminated, not eliminated, but we've added our Comet middle of the day period to the first there so we can get kids into the building, breakfast. That will be time for AIS and also Comet help from teachers as well. We'll begin our day first period at 8:30. So we're going to ask our teachers, I know we'll go over this with our students when we get here. It's a little bit different. You'll see at the high school we've had to flip-flop periods. You'll see it's period 4 and 6, then lunch, and then period 5 is kind of switched in between there. So we had to make a little bit of changes, but ultimately it's the same schedule that they will follow. It's just on a modified time and period structure. So it's just something new that we'll have to get used to. We'll also follow this structure on virtual Fridays for our 7 through 12 students, and it'll follow period by period.
In the elementary for K through 5, as I said earlier, our schedule will run from 8 a.m. when they arrive to 1:30 p.m. for dismissal. Throughout that day, their daily schedule will contain math, ELA. We are scheduling as close to an hour for math and ELA as we can for each grade level. Science and social studies will also be built into the schedule on a daily basis. We will build in intervention services for any students who need extra support in reading and math areas. We're working very hard to make sure that that is available for our students still, and we have staff that will be able to help with that. In addition to that, they will get one 40-minute special each day, Monday through Thursday, in the area of PE, art, music, or tech.
One question that came in to us was, what does a typical classroom here at Sandy Creek look like? So we went to a couple different rooms, we took some photos, and right here are some examples. The top pictures are pictures of a high school classroom in terms of what they will look like, and then the bottom pictures are an elementary classroom, and this illustrates what they will look like. These have been done in a way to maximize social distancing. The requirements for New York State were a 6 feet area, and as you can see, these pictures provide that. For students that will be 100% remote learners, we are going to use the same plan or the same time frame that we would use for our in-person. We will run that exact same schedule throughout the year. Depending on the teacher, they may provide those lessons virtually. They will record those. Some will be streaming them live. It will depend on that teacher. Meals and school resources, they will have to be picked up by the parent or by the student. However, they will be made available daily, or the resources will be provided as needed. We will be taking attendance daily for these remote learners. Simply being accounted for in attendance doesn't mean they're going to be successful in those classes. Our students are being held accountable. They are going to have to complete the work, meet the expectations of that teacher in order to be successful. Remote learning is going to look a lot different this time around than it did in the spring, and it is important that all of our students and staff know that, so that we can meet the needs of our students as they learn the standards. They are going to have to meet those standards of New York State. For the remote learners, if you have any needs electronically, you can contact our technology department at 315-387-3445. The extension is 1949, or you can email the help desk, and the information is below.
In the event we move to all remote instruction, in case there is a COVID-19 outbreak again, students will follow their in-person schedules from 8 to 1:30. This will provide consistency for students and staff members. Detailed schedules will be provided in the event that we do move to 100% remote instruction. Staff members will reach out to students and families about that guidance. Again, students will be expected to check in daily, as attendance is mandatory per New York State guidelines. Special education, we have 3 goals: giving students access to general curriculum, giving students the opportunity to work on their IEP goals, and we are also going to be creating a contingency plan which will be developed for each student in addition to their IEP and or 504 plan. Each child's special education teacher will be reaching out to the student and the parent regarding their tailored contingency plan based on their model of instruction, in-person, remote, or hybrid, prior to the start of the school year. This does not require an amendment meeting. All students will be provided their modifications and accommodations to the greatest extent possible, given the elected mode or model of instruction, whether that's in-person, remote, hybrid, and even our homeschool students.
So that concludes an overview of the plan and many pieces to it. We've had a number of questions over the last several weeks about the plan, and parents are curious, and we want to be able to answer those questions. So we are going to start tonight by answering some of those questions.
Okay, our first question is, will there be a pre-K program this year? There have been many questions surrounding pre-K that have come our way. To date, there is still no funding available for pre-K for the program. Pre-K is a topic of discussion at our board meeting tonight. It will be discussed at the board meeting later this evening, and we hope to have a definite answer by the beginning of next week.
Our next question, does Sandy Creek get information from the Department of Health regarding COVID-19. Yes, we do. We receive regular updates from the Department of Health and from the county that tell us the number of cases and other information about how it is moving and where there are particular cases. We also look at the data for Jefferson County and Onondaga County, as we have students that interact with both of those counties as well. We are working with the county health department in order to make some decisions or to move forward with some of the planning for how you would handle a situation if there was an active case at school or with one of our students.
One of the next questions is, will all families be able to go on the same days if in a hybrid model? Like we said before, we are accommodating all of our families. I believe we have up to this point. If there's any thing that we had oversight on our part, we'd ask that you contact us, but we are accommodating all families, and that's also accounting for our students who are in the BOCES programs too.
Our next question is about electronic devices and internet access. If I don't have an electronic device, will the school provide one for my child? Next year, we will be able to provide devices for each student. In the kindergarten and first grade, each student will get an iPad that they can use while here in person, or if they are remote learners, they will be provided that iPad to use for their learning at home to engage with the teachers for that remote learning. In grades 2 through 12, they will have a Chromebook. Many of our students have a Chromebook still with them currently. We are encouraging you, please bring that back when you begin school in the fall. It's important that that comes back with you. If you have it now, charge it up, bring it back. If you do not have a device, it's here waiting for you when you come in, or if you're a remote learner, we will make sure we get that to you. Reach out to our technology department if you need any help with that. 315-387-3445. The extension is 1949. You can also email our help desk, which is found on our website. Those of you who do not have internet access and indicated that on the survey, or if you need internet access, you can reach out to our district office and please use extension 1510 and they can help you. If a 7 through 12 grade student, 7 through 12 do not have access to the internet, there is some flexibility that will allow for them to be in the building and access the internet on days that they do not have their in-person instruction. That'll be determined on a case-by-case basis, and you would just need to reach out to Mr. Seymour or Ms. Malloy to get some assistance with that.
Our next question, what model of instructions are being offered? Per New York State, we have to offer a hybrid model, an in-person model, as well as a remote model. What we are going with for K-6 is an in-person model 5 days a week. It will run from 8 o'clock, 8:30 until 1:30 every single day. At the 7th through 12th model, we are running more of a hybrid model where students will be in school 2 days per week, and then they'll be learning virtually 3 days per week. With the exception being BOCES, our CTE students, they will be attending BOCES 1 day per week. So they'll have 2 days of virtual and 3 days of in-person, which will come with its own struggles. But we will have our students here, and again, that information will be on the student schedules as they come out in the next couple of weeks.
We addressed this a little bit earlier. Can I change the model of my child's instruction? You do have until August 19th to determine the model of instruction your child will use, whether it's in person, remote, homeschool, and this is due to staffing issues and space constraints. A verification sheet has been sent home to you yesterday regarding this, and it's important if you have to make changes that your instructional model be given to us by August 19th, because this impacts a lot of decision making and planning we have already made. So please notify us of your determination if you wish to change it by August 19th.
Our next question, what type of masks does my child have to wear? Any cloth mask or a surgical mask is fine. If your child doesn't have one, the district will provide one for them. Your child does have to wear a mask when he or she is not socially distanced. You do have to wear the mask on the bus. At this point, as mentioned earlier, our classrooms are small enough with a number of students that we can socially distance them, and it's likely they will not need to wear their mask in the classroom while they're at their seats, but on the bus, in the hallways, they will have to wear their mask, or anytime that they may be in a place where they are not socially distanced or 6 feet apart. Another question is, does a face shield take the place of a mask? A face shield does not replace the wearing of a cloth mask. We've had many questions about whether shields were allowed. At this time, the guidance recommends that it's a face mask. So we are going with face mask for now. If things change regarding the status of a shield, we will let people know that. Will there be mask breaks? Yes. We will provide those breaks. It's highly recommended that we do provide those, and we are building those in. Also know that it was mentioned earlier, if your child does have a situation where they cannot wear a mask, that you must proceed through proper channels of CSD department, and you can contact Kim and Freddie, extension 1910 for that.
Our next question, how will students' temperatures be taken? It's going to go through a few different channels. If they're riding the bus, their temperature will be taken prior to them getting on the bus. And as we spoke about earlier, if their temperature is 100 degrees or more, they will not be allowed on the bus. Similarly, there'll be, for those people that walk or ride or parents are dropping them off at school, they will have to have a temperature check prior to entering the building. There will be somebody there checking those temperatures. Same thing applies. If their temperature is 100 degrees or more, they will not be allowed in the building.
The next question, are there plans to test students and staff? At this point, there are no current plans to test students or staff, but there has been discussion by the local government level agencies regarding this. As well as it being reported in the news lately. Please understand that all staff are screened prior to the start of the day. In the event that any testing has to be done, the Oswego County Health Department will be handling that.
Our next question, what are the procedures for cleaning? All of our cleaning procedures that are in place under the guidance of Mr. Ridgway here at Sandy Creek will follow the CDC and the New York State Department of Health guidelines. You can access that information regarding this on our reopening plan found on the website.
Another question that we've addressed before, but we will address it again. How will my child receive special education services? As we have discussed, all special education teachers will be working on contingency plans related to a child's 504 and/or IEP. These plans will be thoroughly reviewed and discussed by each teacher to the child, child's parent, and the general education teachers prior to the start of the school year. We will provide services to the greatest extent possible in the confines of our modified schedule due to COVID-19.
Our next question, will my child be able to participate in extracurricular activities and sports if they are remote learners? The short answer is yes, they will be able to participate. However, we do not know what those extracurricular activities and what sports will look like. At this point, everything has been postponed until September 21st.
When is BOCES, and will my child be able to attend? BOCES programs are going to run Monday through Thursday on a full day schedule. Students will be able to attend Sandy Creek in person as well. The cohorts have been developed to make sure that this happens. The schedules are being mailed out next week on August 20th. City has yet to send us information on how the CTE programs will look virtually.
Our next question, will elementary students have specials and recess? Yes, our elementary students, they will have specials, art, music, technology, and physical education Monday through Thursday. The playground currently remains closed until further notice, but teachers will be taking our students outside for movement breaks throughout the day. We will also try to make use of outdoors and our courtyards as the weather allows us to.
The next question, what if we have a positive COVID-19 case here at Sandy Creek? Ultimately, the Department of Health will direct us to follow certain procedures if that happens. We have just placed some more specific information regarding these procedures on our website, so you can take a look at those.
Next question, will the students have access to lockers? Students will be assigned lockers. The lockers have been strategically assigned to ensure the maximum distance between each student. Additionally, students must wear their masks during the hallway transitions when they switch classes. That includes trips going to their lockers. Students will be encouraged to take home all their belongings at the end of each day and keep as little as possible in their lockers.
What will socially distanced classrooms look like? That was our next question, and as you noted from earlier, there were pictures on the slideshow that showed what a typical classroom would look like.
Last kind of question that has been brought up was, how will my child receive breakfast and lunches on days that he or she is remote? There will be a designated spot at the school for pickup between 10 and 12, Monday through Friday. More information will be forthcoming as we solidify those plans.
Our next question, why are students being released at 1:30 instead of 3 p.m.? Why are we doing that? The reason is because there's been guidance from the state that has asked us to ensure that there is a level of equity between our students that are learning remotely and our students that are in person. So this provides our teachers, who are going to be working tirelessly to meet the needs of the hybrid model, the in-person model, and the remote model, time to get this work done. So that's why we have shortened the day. But though it is shorter, our students will still be provided the same instruction, and they will still be learning the New York State standards that are expected.
The next question, children are often asymptomatic and don't have usual symptoms that adults do. How can the requirement of a mask be sufficient to protect the spread of the virus? Unfortunately, we are, our hands are tied with what the New York State is asking us to do. Our students have to wear masks inside the school when they cannot be socially distanced.
Our next question, if a single student tests positive for the virus, does that imply the entire school or classroom will be learning from home? In the event that we do have a student or staff member test positive for the virus, the Department of Health will be involved with that case, and our superintendent will consult with them, and he will make the determination as to whether a class has to be quarantined or if the entire school needs to be closed for a few days for deep cleaning. So those decisions will come through the superintendent's office.
Our next question, for parents that are still working or have returned to work, online may be difficult or impossible to accommodate during school hours. How is the school prepared to address the child's absence? We are not going to be able to go into the home and force students to learn. However, we will develop schedules. Our teachers will be available to the students. They will be fully aware of when that instruction is going to take place. At the high school and middle school level, they will be following their typical schedule, and at the elementary as well, the teachers will be working to follow a similar schedule to engage them. We will implement as many strategies as we can come up with to get the students to interact in instruction, as it is very important that they do so.
Next question is, when will we receive the supply list? Is there an estimated day as to when we'll find out when our children's teachers are? So at the middle school and high school level, we plan to send out supply lists and schedules next week. At the elementary, Mr. Filiaccio?
Yep, at the elementary, the supply list, we generated a common list yesterday with the staff, which I plan to post to the website very soon, but that list will also come home next week in a letter coming out of the elementary office, along with the teacher letters are coming out in that same envelope middle to end of next week as well, and you will find out your child's teacher then.
The next question is, how many children will be in a classroom? Well, it depends. It depends on how large the classroom is, what space we're using. There are guidelines that have been put in place from New York State. It goes 20 feet, 20 square feet is what you can use. We are going to use 36 square feet so that we can maximize social distancing in a classroom, so that we can hopefully not have to have masks inside of the classroom once everybody is seated. Additionally, if it's a phys ed class or it is a chorus or band, they have to have 144 square feet, and so the numbers drop even more. So it's really dependent on those numbers and the size of the classroom in terms of how many students can be in those. We are attempting to get around 10 to 12 at the high school level, and at the elementary level we're looking at about 12 to 14.
The next question, how will we keep children from touching each other children's belongings? At the middle school and high school, students will have access to their lockers. They can't have any of their book bags or anything out anyway. We are going to have a minimal supply list and minimal belongings brought to school each day. Mr. Filiatra, at the elementary level?
So at the elementary, I imagine that will be a huge challenge for us at times, but much like everything else we do, it is going to be, we have to take the time and teach children. We'll have those discussions, we'll walk through those situations, we'll explain to them why it's important to not touch other people's belongings or everything else in the classroom for that matter, so that we can reduce everyone's risk of possible contamination or infection.
Our next question, when unloading buses in the morning, how will we do that in order to avoid having hallways full of children? Our buses will come in a staggered manner so that the students will not unload all at the same time. Additionally, we are using separate entrances depending on the grade level to have them come into the building. Part of that process will again be teaching our students that they are going to have to go at the high and middle school level directly to their locker and then directly to the classroom. We've set it up at the middle and high school level where they will start in their classrooms with a comet time where they'll be able to work on individual assignments. At the elementary level,
I'm sorry, I lost you there. I was looking at the next one. So for unloading buses, is that what we're talking about?
Yeah.
So unloading buses, I imagine that we will stagger that as well at the elementary. We will reduce the number of children traveling through the hallways to make sure that we can distance them and get them to the classroom safely. I'll jump on the next question since I was looking ahead. How will parent pickups happen at the end of the day? All of the parents standing in that hallway is not safe, and I know that this question is specific to the elementary. We are revamping, revising our dismissal plan. More details will be released to parents as soon as we can do that. The idea right now is that parents will not be entering the building as we've done for the last 2 years. So we are developing a system where we can dismiss your students safely to you and have a system where you can check your students out using some new technology. Hopefully will be our friend. So more details are coming forth for that.
That wraps up the questions for tonight. I don't believe any other questions have come in at this point. We do encourage you, if you do have questions, please submit them to the website. Provide those questions to us so that we are able to answer them. We want to do what's best for the community. We've been looking out for our students, our community members, and staff the entire time. So again, if you have questions, we do encourage you to reach out. Thank you very much.